Hey, everybody, and welcome once again to Creepy Conversations from the Castle. This is Bobby J. Gallo, your ghost host, and we have a great show for you tonight. Now, you might notice right off the bat that the look of the show is a little bit different. I'm using a different webcam. We were using the Canon V10 Power Shot as a webcam for the show, and it did have a crystal clear picture. The problem was battery life. It was going dead, and we had to cut the show short a couple times. So now we don't have to worry about that anymore. And I think the picture still looks pretty good. So going forward, we're probably just going to use the regular webcam for the show, and I'm sure you guys understand. Now, a couple of little bits of housekeeping before we do get started today. And number one is our current subscriber count. We're just short of 60,000 subscribers. And it's amazing because most of those came about during the last year. So after 15 years of this channel being on YouTube, we're finally snowballing as far as subscriber count goes. And that's really important because, when I have guests on there, I'd like the guests, I like it to be worth their time. And it really helps the channel to grow. And it's really amazing how with this number of people subscribing to the channel, that they're looking back at the older episodes, like some 15 years old, and it's brand new to so many people, which is really exciting for me. So close to 60,000 subscribers. And also, this is also very important, we're close to 1 million views. So the channel as a whole has almost 1 million views all of a sudden. I mean, and it's really amazing. Even our shorts, we have one short now with over 32,000 views just on one short. Now, one other little bit of housekeeping before we bring on our guest. Everybody may have noticed that this book is now out. Let me get this in front of the camera. Help Me, I'm Haunted by Father Sean Patrick Whittington, a good friend of mine, and Annette Munich. Now, the cool thing about this is yours truly, Bobby J. Gallo, is a contributor to this book. So I do have a chapter in here on spiritual portals. So if anybody's interested, we are offering this on our Etsy site, which is ghostgear.info. So you can go to that, or you can just go up to the links above in our YouTube channel and it'll be there. We'll also have it down in the description of this episode. So Help Me, I'm Haunted. It's available now on our Etsy site with yours truly contributing amongst others. It's a fascinating read, and one that is definitely going to keep you up at night, because it's no fooling around, because it does talk a lot about the darker side of the paranormal, and a lot of people in the paranormal don't want to pretend that doesn't exist, but I know it does, and Father Sean knows it does, and you can read about it in the book. So without further ado, I am going to bring on my guest. This person is one of my favorite people in the paranormal, and I don't always say that. We've collaborated together on events. We've even shared tables at Paracons and and been next to each other at book signings. She's just one of the good ones in the paranormal field. She's a phenomenal investigator. She's an author of several great books that we're going to be talking about. And she's also had me as a guest on her podcast, the Creeping It Real podcast. So without further ado, we're going to bring her on. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Eleanor Wagner.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Bobby.
Oh, Eleanor, there's a very few people I'd rather have on my show. It was just a matter of getting this scheduled, honestly, up to this point, because you actually moved down south. You are no longer up in Sussex County, New Jersey, where you were. You're down south
That's
there.
right.
And so we kind of lost touch a little bit, because we were collaborating on a lot of different projects, you and I. And
Yes.
and one I really want to mention to the audience, and this is pretty cool. And before I do that, I want to say hi to Todd. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well. Thank you for tuning in tonight. This is going to be a great show. I can tell you that right now. And if anybody's watching this from Facebook, be sure to go to the YouTube channel, because this is where you can interact like Todd is doing right now. We actually were the two lecturers at a sold out paranormal lecture in that was up in, was it,
Milford, Pennsylvania. Milford,
what's that?
right? Are you
Milford.
talking about the Milford, Pennsylvania, the Readers and Writers Festival? Or are you talking about up in Highland Lakes Clubhouse?
The Highland Lakes Clubhouse.
Okay.
That one.
Sold out.
That was sold out. There were so many people that came to listen to us lecture. They were sitting on the windowsills, I
Hmm.
remember, of the place. That was incredible. What an experience that was. It was
Yeah.
you and me, and my daughter Courtney was up on stage for a few things, but you and me, we knocked it out of the park with that one. That was one for the books for sure. And I have that on video on the channel. So for people that want to watch that and watch Eleanor and I really bring the goods as far as the paranormal is concerned, you could watch that on the YouTube channel, and
We
she's
work
on
well
there too.
together for sure.
Yeah, that
Hmm.
was awesome. So you've done it all in the paranormal field. You've not only been a paranormal investigator, and you have some stunning evidence, full body apparitions, which I've seen and things of that nature, but you've also written a number of books on the paranormal and as well as hosting a podcast. So why don't you just give the audience just a truncated version of what you've done?
Sure. Well, I write a lot of genres. I went to school to write for children, so I do have a children's book and a series in the work. And then I write psychological thrillers. That was always my thing. And I was in the middle of writing my second psychological thriller when I was at an author group, kind of conversating with other people, tossing ideas around. And we got into the discussion of the paranormal. I've seen ghosts since I was a child. I've owned businesses where the buildings were haunted. And I thought, you know what? I could tell my stories, but I wonder if there's anybody out there that wants me to tell their story. So social media is a wonderful thing, right? I put it out
Yeah.
there asking anybody want to tell me their ghost story. It might end up in my book. And for 2 solid weeks, my phone did not stop beeping. So I ended up compiling files, files on Sussex County, Warren County, Pike County, Orange County. So these files have stories that are ready to be books. I thought Sussex County hauntings was just going to be one, and it ended up being three. It could definitely be four or five, but right now I'm working on Morris County hauntings. So that's the next one that's going to come out, aside from a novella that I finished, a psychological thriller novella. And as you mentioned, I am a host of two podcasts, but I have them both on hiatus right now because life is getting in the way. But the one is Eleanor Wagner's Creeping It Real out of the Coast to Coast network, where I have paranormal teams from around the country come on and tell me about what they do and show us some evidence. And then there's Eleanor Wagner's Strange and Scary World out of the UK, Paranormal UK radio network. And that's just talking to people with crazy, crazy paranormal stories, Bigfoot stories, UFO stories. And I had some really amazing guests on those shows. A guy who went through the Bermuda Triangle and survived. He was a pilot. His plane almost went down. He's in his 80s. And the case of the couple in New Hampshire back in the 60s where they got taken. Their niece right now has their legacy carrying on, and she works with the government. I had her on my show. So I've had some really interesting conversations with very interesting people that I've met over the years, and it's just been very fulfilling for me. It's something that I enjoy doing, as you do. And even though I'm not in Jersey anymore, my team is still up there investigating because people still reach out to me and say, "Oh, do they want to come to my business or my residence?" And I send them on their way. And I started a paranormal team here in North Carolina, the North Carolina Spirit Hunters, and we do investigations in local businesses and homes down here. So I can't get away from it.
No, no, and it's like what it's like Al Pacino in The Godfather says, "Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in again." You know, it's true though. Two things. Number one, you told yeah, if you're doing Morris County hauntings, be sure to do the Palace Theater in Netcong because that is one of the most haunted locations I've ever investigated.
Well, you know what? I might just interview you
Yep,
about that. How's that sound? You'll be the storyteller of the Palace Theater. I'll put it in there.
that would be great
I
because
didn't realize that was Morris County. I
it
really
is.
solely rely on people telling me their accounts, unless my paranormal team gets into the building and we get to have an investigation. I know you did an investigation of your own in the Palace Theater, and your
Absolutely.
relations were involved in the theater itself or something,
Yep.
if I remember correctly. So I'm
Correct.
glad you mentioned it because I will definitely do it because I love to write about the history of the location. You know how I feel about that, bringing the history into the fold and telling people what it was like. And then,
Yep.
if I'm able to tell about your paranormal account, even better. And then if my team gets in, it's even better than that. So I would love to do that.
That would be great. Malcolm and Jenny are the two ghosts, and Weird New Jersey interviewed me for that investigation as well. Actually, I did it twice, 1990 and 20 years later, we did it again.
Wow.
Yeah, with some of the same investigators that I did it with in
Oh, that's
1990.
cool.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
I love
20
that.
years apart, and just as haunted the second time as it was the first time. Um, but
Wow.
yeah, so that's great. Wow, Sussex, yeah, that's great. Oh, Morris County hauntings, yeah, that's super. And the other thing I wanted to say just completely slipped my mind. So
It'll come back to you. We can talk for hours.
I know we can. I know we can. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, you have some great books. As a matter of fact, I'm going to flash them up on the screen right now. Here
Oh,
here
thank
are your
you.
books.
Yeah,
Sussex
that
County.
that Dream a Little Dream one there, that's the first psychological thriller I ever wrote. And then the Sussex County Hauntings was my first hauntings book. And then I went on to write two, and I skipped Sussex and did Warren County Hauntings. And then the last one I did was three, Sussex County Hauntings 3. That's kind of like the order of things.
That's great. That's great. And
I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the covers of my books. That very first one is from the Captain's House in Vernon. And the second one is from Lawyers Building in Vernon. Oh, they're actually all Vernon, those three. And the Sussex 3 is the Daily Bean in Vernon. And I took all of those pictures. Down on the bottom left in Warren County is at the site of the Rockport train wreck. That's why you have the railroad sign over there. And that beautiful tree in the back actually has a memorial under it for all the people that died in that train wreck. It actually has one of those buttons that you can push on the board there that runs you through the whole story about what happened that night when the rain washed out the tracks and the train derailed, killing all those people. And that story is in there. I'm talking to your audience. I don't know if they hear me or not,
oh,
but I figured I'd keep them entertained.
I thank you so very much. You are such a pro. It couldn't have been in better hands. I'll tell you that right now. Now, for those of you who don't know, I said before the show, and I'm going to put my light back on here, that there is a storm outside, and that's what just happened.
That's what I
So
just told them.
it's exactly what just happened there. And there we go. And I'm even adjusting my lighting again. There we go.
There you
Um,
go.
okay. Okay, we're back, folks. Thank you, Eleanor, for being such a pro. You see, folks, she's the host of the Creeping It Real podcast, which is a global podcast. So she's a pro. I didn't have to worry about a thing. It was in good hands. That's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah. And also the power went out, went back on again, but everything goes out and the router has to reboot and everything like that, when that happens.
Oh my goodness. That's so
But
funny.
we're good. We're good. Perfect. That worked out. That worked out that you stayed on.
Well, welcome back. Glad you could join us.
Yeah, my name is Bobby Gall. If you'd like to know a little bit about me, I'm no, I'm just kidding. So did you talk about your books?
I did. I was sitting here and I was
Good.
looking at the covers and I was like, oh, you know what? Let me talk about the covers because I took those pictures on the covers of the haunting books and they're all locations that are written about in the books. So, like for example, in the very first one, it's the Captain's House in Vernon. And at the time, my friend owned an antique shop, kind of
Mhm.
consignment shop in that building when I went in and did the investigation. So I took that picture and I thought it was great for the cover. So all of the books have pictures that I've taken of locations that I wrote about in the books. So I
And
thought it
I'm
was
going to
kind of
tell
cool.
somebody, I'm going to tell people one thing about one of your books. I've read your books. I think they're phenomenal. This is the truth, and I am not just saying this. This is the honest truth. I was always on the fence about cryptozoology, and like especially Bigfoot, Sasquatch, until I read your book. Your
Mm.
book made me a believer. I'm not kidding.
Hey, Jenny, how are you?
Hey, Jenny. Jenny's the best. We love Jenny.
She and I met one time before. I'm pretty sure.
Did you
She's in
really?
the paranormal world, isn't she?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Jenny.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Welcome back. Okay. I'm just getting all the messages up here that people wrote.
That's okay. That's all right.
That's one of
They
my
weren't coming up
policies.
before.
If somebody says something, they want to be a part of the show, we make sure that they're part of the show. That's to me, that's important.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, no, Jenny's a phenomenal investigator.
I
So
can't remember where we met, but I've been doing this now for a lot of years. Not as long as you, but somewhere along the line, it might have been even with Richie Michella. I think it might have been with him at one point that I ended up meeting her. But I know that
that's
she and I
that's
have.
probably what it was because her,
Yeah.
Richard, Anthony Simonelli, they're all part of the same group, and
Mm-hmm.
some of my absolute favorite people in the paranormal. All of those people, I love them. I love them.
Yep.
And
Me too. Me too. You know who the good ones are. You know who to stick it out with because there is paranormal drama in the paranormal world, and you got to be really
oh,
careful about who you work with. And I was blind to it. Really, I um, just trusted too easily, and it literally broke me. I mean, I cared so much about these people, called them my
mhm,
friends, was on such a high from being so happy with the group.
right.
And then it just happened that they did me wrong, Bobby. They did me wrong, and they took advantage of me. They lied. They
Mm.
threatened me, and stupidly, they did it all in a letter that each of them signed their names to. But I don't allow people to threaten me. They actually said, "Don't talk bad about us in the paranormal world." And you know what? I'm going to talk bad about you to the paranormal world because you can't be trusted.
Well, and of course, without naming any names, I mean, I go through it too. With the popularity of our YouTube channel, it seems like, you have all of these friends in the paranormal, and as you get more popular, your friends list goes down. And I just don't know why that is because up until
I
that
think it's
point,
it's like a jealousy thing. I
I don't
mean,
know why.
I you know, as a writer, as an author, we don't make a lot of money. We're
No,
not rich off
no,
of
we
our
don't.
we do our writing for the sheer love of it.
Exactly.
And these people thought I was rich and they wanted a piece of the money. And they were trying to get money out of me. It was the most awful thing. And I actually had to pull myself away for a little while because that's how well we spoke about it shortly after.
Mhm.
It broke me. I was so upset, so heartbroken. And I very carefully came back into the paranormal um, world again because I was so hurt by that situation. And I kind of like I'm still guarded, to be honest, man. I know who my friends are. Like I know you and I know Richie. Those are people I could trust that I don't worry about at all. But when somebody new comes
Mhm.
into the fold, I'm just very, very careful and very leery because I trusted so easily and I shouldn't have.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's I go through the same thing. It's like ever notice, you'll see conventions and things like that, and you'll see conferences, and there's all these people on the card that you've never heard of, and there's nothing wrong with that. I like when people that are breaking into the paranormal get some exposure, but I hardly ever get invited to anything anymore. I mean, the only conference this year that has invited me to be a guest is uh, Dave Giuliano, the Whitehall Mansion Paracon in Fieldsboro, New Jersey. He's got me there, but other than that, nobody
Why do you
asks
think that
us.
is?
I
Why do you
don't
think that
know.
is?
I really don't know. I honestly don't because I feel we have something to offer people. Um,
Sure.
we have 60,000 followers. A lot of them are local that will come to these conventions to see us. I mean, you could ask Renee. People come all the time to
Hmm.
to our appearances. And so that's people coming through the door for them, but they just don't ask us. And I really, it's a mystery to me. It really is.
Mm. And you've been doing this for a really long time.
Since the
I
90s.
mean, your kids were really little when you guys started doing the investigating with them.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I mean, you were doing it before that, but when you started doing it with
Yep.
your Gallo family,
15 years with the family, 15 years with the
yeah,
family. And then before then going back to 1990. So I
right.
can't explain it. I just think it has something to do with the popularity of the channel. Which could only benefit any event that would have us there. But anyway, that as it may. Um, I I've seen some of your evidence. You have some really impressive evidence. You have I saw a full body apparition you captured in a cemetery. Tell us about some of the cooler you've experienced while you've been investigating.
Okay. Well, the people that I work with are all sensitive to a certain degree, and some
Hmm.
have abilities that are stronger than others. Some have abilities that are different than others. But when we're all
Right.
together as a team, obviously that works so much better because that energy is created and spirits pick who they want to work with, honestly. Like you can go into an investigation, and if the spirit doesn't want to interact with you, they're not, but they may have a connection with somebody else, and then great, then we're off to a great investigation. Um, we did a random investigation in I think it was an insane asylum. That was a hospital, and um, we were all down. I guess you could call it kind of like the catacombs. It was way down underneath the building. And there was probably six of us walking through, and we were just going to get to the other side and
Hmm.
plan ourselves and just sit there and see if we could pick up anything. And as we're walking through these halls, we see this massive, dark, black mass shadow coming towards us. And Art, who's been doing this probably for about 40 years, he starts interacting with it and talking to it, and it was pretty much responding to us in a way. Um, I can't explain it, but you would say something, and it would stop, and we'd say, "You don't have to be afraid. You can come closer." But
Oh
we got it
wow.
on camera, and it's really crazy how you could hear us all going, "Oh my God, do you see that?" Because at first it was like, "Is that real? Do you really see that?
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that before." And then we're all just standing there in awe. And then Art kind of takes over and starts interacting with it, and it stops, and it was almost like it was hesitating and wasn't sure if it wanted to come over towards us. And we got it on camera, which was really really neat. So when you get a catch like that, it's just crazy. It's like, oh wow, that's awesome. And then
Yeah.
I also
Yeah.
like when we do investigations in private residences and businesses, because those are kind of like the untouched locations. When you go to something that's pretty
Really.
popular, it gets, spirits get tired of it. They don't want to be bothered. But when you go into a place where they don't know you can hear them or see them, they get so excited because somebody's actually listening to them. And you're more
Absolutely.
likely to have stuff happen to you or for you in situations like that. And I'm telling you, 99% of the time we always get a visit from a deceased loved one when we do an investigation like that. So in coordination with
Yeah.
spirits that are in the home, somebody's deceased loved one says, "Oh my God, they can hear me," and they will come in and want to tell their family something, which is really really cool.
100%. I couldn't agree more, especially with investigating locations that haven't been investigated before. Like, and that's what we to this day. Um, yes, we do still go to Gettysburg, but we really try to go to places that have never been investigated before. And I think a great example was one that we just did in Jim Thorpe, uh, Pennsylvania. We went to the
Oh, is that
Packer
where you
family.
got that great catch? That picture that you got, that you caught, that great picture, is that the one?
No, no, this one I'm talking about, we just did. And we
Oh, okay.
actually, because I don't know if anybody knows, but we're actually collaborating with a company called Finiercy, and they're sending us gear to use on investigations. Once again, folks, because we have 60,000 subscribers. We should be at your event. But anyway, be that as it may, they sent us a Geiger counter. They sent us a Geiger counter.
Wow.
And we have this on tape, our newest episode. You could watch the spirit of Sarah Packer, who was said to roam that cemetery, interact through a Geiger counter, not an EMF detector, a
Mm,
Geiger counter. So she was spiking. She
wow.
was sending radioactive spikes through the equipment to communicate with us. It's mind boggling. Which only goes to show you that these entities, it's amazing the difference of energy that they can affect, and it's not just magnetic energy. We feel that they can actually also affect nuclear energy, radioactive energy, and
Mm,
we just did that in a first investigation. So it's nuts.
that's I've never heard of that before. That's pretty cool. You said it's a Geiger counter.
A guy, yeah, yeah. Like if you were looking for radioactivity,
Right.
um, really a Geiger counter. It's the
Wow.
Finirsi GC3. And you could, if you watch our newest one, you'll see it. And all of a sudden, there's these nuclear
Mm,
energy spikes coming out of this thing. And is this you? It would go off. And then when we stopped talking to her, and we would start talking about other things, because I get squirreled on these investigations, it would stop. It would stop. So it wasn't ongoing. Only it
right.
was intelligent.
So you knew.
So she has three babies buried next to her that all died within like one
Oh,
year. And
oh,
when I started talking about the babies, it would go
mm-hmm.
off.
Oh,
She wanted us to be sympathetic towards that, and we were.
mm-hmm.
And it was crazy because then when we did and I don't want to keep talking about myself here because this is your interview, but we did
Oh, I just
we
love
got
hearing about it.
yeah we got it was All Souls Day when we did this investigation, and the word came through mass, MASS, as though she wanted us to say a
You
mass
knew
family.
it. Right.
So we did. We did, just to let everybody know we had the mass said
Oh,
for
that's
the Packer
nice.
family. So
That was really nice. We did this investigation one time in Vernon in a private residence. The woman was saying that her granddaughter kept seeing this little boy in the room that wanted to play with her. Could we come and figure out what was going on? So we actually went there specifically to find out who this little boy was. And ultimately, we did end up finding out who the little boy was. But while we were there, um, we were down in the basement. And when we first walked into the basement, we saw an American flag on the floor. And all of us women rushed to pick it up and fold it, refold it, and put it in a safe place so it wouldn't end up on the floor. Because we were like, oh, we can't allow this to stay on the floor. We don't want to disrespect the flag. And so I think the spirit actually was pleased that we were so respectful of the American flag, because after we did that, this spirit wanted to connect with us. And we were pretty much done for the night. We were ready to go, but we were giving it one last shot and said, whoever you are, we have this audio equipment here. Um, Please feel free to say something to us, talk to us. We'll tell your story. We'll be so excited. We'll even do a dance for you. Like we'll do a jig, like jokingly, right?
right,
Not thinking that we were going to get anything. And um, we listened back because the team member had the audio equipment that you could just shut it off and listen to it right away to see if you heard anything. And sure
sure,
enough, we hear a dog bark like a burp, right? And then right after that, we hear him say, tell them I'm okay, now dance. And we were like, what? Did he really say that? And so we rewound it and listened to it again. I'm like, oh my God, I think that this might be the elderly gentleman that the family was hoping might come through. They felt like they felt his presence. It was their grandpa, but they never really had any confirmation of that. So we bolt upstairs with the audio equipment, and we said, you got to sit down, you got to listen, and tell us if you hear anything, first of all, and if you do, who you hear. And I mean, within 5 minutes, the whole family was crying because they were like, "That's Pop
Mm.
Pop." And they even said that the
Oh,
little dog bark that they heard was his dog's bark, because you know your animals, they have distinctive barks. I could recognize my dog's bark
absolutely.
anywhere. They were like, "That's Grandpa's doggy
Absolutely.
that's with him," and they were just so excited that he came through and that he told them that he was okay, and obviously he had his little doggy with him. So I find that happens
That is
quite
so
a lot. Quite a lot. We could do an investigation like that, and a deceased loved one will come through.
that's so cool. Um, touched in here, and I think it's a good one. And that's why I left it up here on the screen. He says, Eleanor,
Oh,
is there one that's really stuck with you?
absolutely.
Let's
Actually, there's
hear it.
more
Let's
than
hear it.
one. But
Let's hear
when
it.
people ask me, they say, "Hey, which of your books, the hauntings books, are your favorite?" And I think that they would immediately think that I'm going to say, "Oh, Sussex County Haunting 1 or 2 or 3." And it's not. My favorite is the Warren County Hauntings books, because most of the stories in there are have a history behind them from way back when. And the one that really sticks out with me is the Tilly Smith story. She is the ghost that haunts Centenary University, and
Oh, I
she
know.
she was raped and murdered, and her body was left on the grounds of the university. And my daughter went to that university, and
Mm,
so when I wrote that story, she helped me find people that could tell me their accounts of that were at the school when things happened to them. And that's
wow.
probably the one that hits the most, because she definitely haunts the school. And the
Wow.
background story is just very sad. The trial was very sad. So, but that book is probably my favorite. It also has the Rockport train wreck, which I spoke to your listeners a little bit about when you got disconnected from us, because there was this. I had no idea it existed, never knew it happened. One of my readers had actually turned me onto the story. Hey, if you're writing about Warren County, you might want to look out about the Rockport train wreck. And I was like, never heard of it. And so I went
Mm,
digging for information, and sure enough, there was this steam engine that derailed in a terrible storm, and all these people died. And I was just fascinated by this whole thing that I never even knew it happened. And I said to myself, you know what, I think we're going to take the paranormal team and go on the tracks, because it's got to be active if it was a sign, a site of something so awful. And we went there first night that we went there, Bobby. We are walking on the tracks. It's at night, because we like to go at night because it's just the ambiance, and it's easier because we all have full-time jobs. And so we're walking on the tracks, and all of a sudden the lights go ding, 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 ding. When you're on a railroad track, like, there's a train
right.
coming. So we all jump
Right.
off of the tracks, thinking there's this train coming, and no train came. We're like, what happened? Why was that light
Wow.
going off? And so the mediums that were there immediately connected with the spirit, and they were like, did you just do that with the lights? And they went off again. So these lights continued to
Wow.
go, the bells and the lights continued to go off at least 6 or 7 times during the course of the night we were there, including just as we were leaving, when we said, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Eleanor's going to write your story. We'll come back and we'll see you again. And they went off again, as if thank you, um, and goodbye.
That's
And
absolutely incredible.
we've gotten some really great stuff from, and we've gone back there several times. Another time, probably a couple of weeks after that particular story that I just told you about, they decided to go back and see if they could get the lights to go off again randomly, and they weren't able to. It didn't happen, but they had audio going. And the person who had her audio equipment with that day wasn't the type that you could actually stop and listen to in that moment. So she had to go home and sit
Right.
down with the
Right.
headphones on and listen. And she hears on the
That's
audio.
crazy.
And it was like,
Crazy.
oh my God, did you really hear that? So
Yeah, we
Go ahead. I'm
did an
sorry.
investigation there. It's on our channel, Tragedy at Rockport, and
Hmm.
for those of you very dark, what I'm about to say, but if you know anything, what happened was the passenger, when the steam engine derailed, the passenger cars flipped on top of the steam engine, and these people were literally cooked alive. And when
Yeah.
we did a spirit box session, we got through the spirit box. We are burning
Hmm.
and really dark, and it's on our
Yeah.
website. You can actually hear this, but I warn people all the time. I said this one is very unnerving, and I hate to think that they're reliving that. I think it's more because something so traumatic just got soaked into into the countryside. And if you go there, and you've probably seen this, burnt railroad ties are still there on the ground. They're still there.
Hmm.
So these are
And
like,
there are spirits there, because one of the spirits that came through said he's guarding the train tracks. He wants to make sure nobody gets hurt again. And then the medium that we had
wow,
with us that night, she got names. Her and her daughter are really, really great. Um, Jackie is her name, and she got names that when she went back home, she pulled up on the internet the manifest, and these people's names were on
that's
there that
so.
she was talking to.
I
So that
want
was
to know.
pretty cool.
I want names are. I want to know what those names are because we got names that we verified
You
well
got
there.
names too?
Yep,
I think,
we
do you
did.
have the Warren County? You have the Warren County book. I think I put them inside the book and in that chapter in the book.
Okay,
Do
I
you
got
have
to
the
go
Warren
look at
County
that.
Hauntings book? I'm pretty sure you got. I'm pretty sure you did,
I'm
but it's
pretty
on
sure
the
I have
Rockport
it
train wreck.
too.
Yeah, it's the one
Um,
on the lower left there. That's actually the site. I
okay,
was
and just to
telling
let
you.
everybody, that's great.
Yeah, that's actually the site right there. I'm pretty sure I put them in. I'm pretty sure I put it in that chapter because I wrote about it for Weird New Jersey too. Somebody was writing
Okay,
the first
awesome.
half, and then I wrote about the investigation in the second half of the article.
I didn't even know you had that in Weird New Jersey. So we're both Weird New Jersey alumni. That's
I would love to get more of them in there, though. It's just
I
it's
I
a hit
know.
or miss. It's a hit or
Um,
miss.
but once again, I'm actually going to tell people once again, your books made me a believer in Bigfoot. Believe it or not, they truly did because, and I'll tell you why. The stories rang so true that I had no choice but to believe it. Stay,
And
I
you want to
believe
know
it because
something?
of your books.
You're talking to people who are like professionals. You're
I
talking
know.
to
Yeah,
policemen, rangers, hunters, teachers that are all sharing that this stuff happened to them.
absolutely.
And so it makes you really wonder. I mean, I've had some really great people on my podcast too that I spoke to about that do Bigfoot studies, and the stories they tell me too. I'm just like, how could it be so believable if it's not true? You know?
Right, right, right. There's a lot of things in the paranormal. I say there has to be something to it, or there wouldn't be the same things. It's kind of like near death
Right.
experience. The same experience has been had by literally tens of thousands of least of documented cases. How many undocumented cases there are? How could you
Hmm.
dismiss this? You can't dismiss this. It's
Yeah,
impossible.
it's
And you
true.
can't chalk it up to a quirky biologians with an oxygen deprivation in their brain, or that's just crazy because
I mean,
there
people
are
say,
too
well, yeah, and that you've never caught one on camera. You've never ever actually, you never got a really great picture. But I feel like I brought up the argument about it's possibly alien, and they are so
okay.
advanced that they're able to make themselves not be caught on camera. Although there is a gentleman named Andre Verge,
Hmm.
his name is, and he's written a couple of books too. He lives in Pennsylvania as well. If you Google him, you'll see he has a
Oh,
great picture of, because it started when he was a kid in his
right.
neighborhood, in his house, and he grew up with this experience, and he feels like this particular one follows him, and he got this picture off of, I want to say, I think it was like Route 209 in Pennsylvania. He and his wife are driving, and she goes, "Oh my God, Andre, I think there's a Bigfoot." And he's like, "What?" And he pulls over the car, and they get out the car, and he starts taking these pictures. It was one, and the picture I saw was like unbelievable. So, people say, "Oh, I've never seen," but then you're going to get people that say, "Oh, that's not a real picture," or "It's somebody who's fake," and they're going to believe what they want to believe anyway. I am so open-minded about everything. I feel we are
Well, yeah.
infinitesimal compared to some of the stuff that's out there that we have um, no
What did
no
Shakespeare
knowledge about.
said? What did Shakespeare say? There's more to heaven and earth than UV's Horatio or something like that,
Mm, yeah, 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 yeah.
There's a very famous
He
saying
spoke
about
of it.
that. But I think my personal belief is that Bigfoots are extremely intelligent. I think
Oh
that
yeah,
if they are primates, there's nothing to say that they don't have intelligence that approaches ours, which is why they are smart enough not to be seen, especially with just the vast amount of wilderness we west. I'm in, and who knows what the government knows? The government might even know they exist. They just don't say anything. Who knows? We don't know.
have you ever spoken to Mike Familant? He's from
I don't
Sussex
believe so.
County, and he actually runs the I want to say the Big Red Eye in New Jersey, about Bigfoot in Sussex County. His name is Mike Familant, and he runs that particular group, and he does all of these um, events where he goes out in the woods to try and get evidence, and he has a lot of evidence, and he's local to you, so I could put you in contact with him, try and get him on your podcast if you'd like to do a
Oh, I
Bigfoot
love it.
one.
I love it.
Um, yeah, and I'll,
I'm
I'll
always looking
connect you
for
with
new
Andre
people,
too.
and I do like on this show that nobody else has or is not really um, involved in a lot of the paranormal groups that we hang out with. Like D.H.
Hmm.
Parsons was a perfect example, and I tell everybody go back and watch that because D.H. Parsons never does podcast interviews, and he did it he's a big supporter of ours. But boy, you those are also some great books to read. But yeah, no, I would love to have for sure. Um,
And I
so
know he'd do it because he's such a nice guy. Um, yeah, I'll put you in touch with him.
okay,
We know
Jason
nothing. Mike
says
Familan is
we
one of
know
the coolest
nothing.
motorists. Yeah, see that? Most awesome people. Big red eye. Yep. She knows what I'm talking about. He's a good
She's
guy. He's a good
awesome,
egg.
and
Yeah.
that just reminded me. Jenny's a physicist. Did you know that?
She's a
She's
what?
like a physicist. If
No, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
so
Smart
when she
lady.
talks, it's really cool because you're getting paranormal from the viewpoint of somebody who knows science. And I
Right.
think that is so awesome. I really do. What was she saying?
One of my team members here in North Carolina, she's a scientist too, Jenny, and she kind of plays the skeptic a little bit, but she's got such a connection with spirit that she's the one that always ends up getting the best evidence for us. So it's good to have that side of you where you can try and debunk something, but then when it's real, you know.
Absolutely. Jenny's a nerd. Well, you are our favorite nerd. That's the case. That that's cool. That's cool. But we're all nerds. Come on, man. Look at me. Me with my new ghost box. I mean, I'm a nerdy right here.
Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing
No,
wrong with that.
that's right. That's right. That's a cool ghost box, by the way. That was custom made for us
Oh,
by
no
Nigel
kidding.
Mortimer. How do you like the name Nigel Mortimer for some
I like
yeah, in
that.
the UK? It's a good ghost box. Oh my gosh, it's like a portal. Capture some great evidence. But anyway, no,
Wow.
that's great. So all of these books you've written,
Yes.
and one's a children's book, one.
Mhm.
I read Dream a Little Dream. It's a little spicy there, Eleanor. Let me tell you.
I know. It's one of those sit on the edge of your seat kind of books, and you have to be warned that there's a psychopath in there, so he's got a mean streak and bad language. But it's kind of like a romancy kind of vibe to it too,
I liked it though.
right?
I really enjoyed the book. I did. Um,
Thank you.
but your paranormal standing. They're outstanding.
Thank you.
And people, you don't have to live in Sussex County, New Jersey, or Warren County, New Jersey, to
No.
really enjoy these books.
Everybody likes a good ghost story. It has to be a real ghost story, but everybody likes a ghost story. I know when I travel around the country, I always look for a book with the local hauntings in it, especially in Cape May, because I love
Absolutely.
Cape May. Who doesn't like to hear about the ghosts that, are around in different areas?
And here's the cool thing: if you're into the paranormal, you know what these books are good for. They tell you places to go in certain areas to investigate.
That's right. That's right. I've
That's what
spoken
I
to
like
many a
about them.
person who has said, I never knew that, and I'm going to go there now and investigate. It's
Yep.
absolutely true.
That's how we found some of the hot spots in St. Augustine, Florida,
Oh,
as
okay.
we bought local hauntings. We went there and the place lit up. So
See?
so there you go. So you need to buy Eleanor's books, folks. And by the way, folks, we're gonna have the links to her books down here in the description of the video. So when this is all over and it's posted to YouTube and all that stuff, you're gonna have a direct link to buy Eleanor's books. So I
Thank
want to see
you.
some of you guys get some of her books because they're good books. They really are.
Well,
I enjoy them. So
I talk
that's for
about the
sure.
history of the town and the location, and so people like to hear about the history stuff too.
Right, right. Now, are you still doing the Creeping It Real podcast?
I have it on a hiatus right now because
Okay.
um, the last 2 years have been pretty rough, and I felt like I was doing it was 1 week on, 1 week off. So I'd have the Creeping It Real I do 1 week, and then the following week I would do this Strange and Scary World. And I felt like I was doing more podcasting and less of my writing. And my writing is my
Mm.
joy. So life was really rough the last 2 years, and I said, you know what? I gotta stop and take a break. And I recently picked up the pen again, and I finished a novella, which I'm really glad for. I'm halfway through the Morris County hauntings, so I know a lot of people are going to be very happy about that. And I haven't done the podcast back yet, so I got to wait for it to be right for me. I have to get to that place to do it again.
And
So
there's
right now
nothing
I'm
wrong
not.
with that. I mean, there's a lot of people that ask me if I have a regular schedule for the podcast, and I don't. Um, we do the podcast when the podcast happens,
Hmm.
and I was doing now it's month, uh, but because I don't want to just do the podcast too. I'm a paranormal investigator. I want to go out. I
Right,
want to do some long form content. Go to these locations that are still on my bucket list to
right.
investigate. So
You don't want to lose sight of that goal that started you in this world to begin with. And it can very, very
exactly,
easily get distracted. And that's
yeah.
where I had to pull the plug. I really had to say, okay, I like my paranormal investigating and I like my writing, and those are the two things that I like the most. So yeah,
Well,
you have to
but
make
that being
what's
said,
important to you
exactly.
priority.
But they could still tune into previous episodes, right?
Oh my goodness, yeah, they're
There are
they're
places they
they're
can go.
all still
Yeah,
there. Yeah, they're all
yeah.
still there. Um, and like I said, some of them are just really good interviews
Oh,
with
they
people that
are.
were
They
very
are. Yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
I, I, I enjoy the show myself. Um, Not just one that I was on, folks. I really did. I really enjoy the podcast. But no, that's cool. So, what's your current project?
um, um, in what? In paranormal investigating or in the books?
What, whatever.
Okay, I'm focusing on finishing Morris County Hauntings right now.
Okay,
That's
okay.
my goal, because last week I finished writing the novella, so I have a friend of mine reading it, kind of like critiquing it. I'm going to do like that ARC thing where you have people reading it before you put it out in the world, and so now I'm just focusing very much on the paranormal book on Morris County Hauntings.
You have a happy
Happy Thanksgiving to
Thanksgiving
you. I'm so
too.
glad that you came, Jenny. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, she's got a podcast at 8. Yeah, I saw that out. It was good. So this is, you got hers. We end up popping on hers. Lucci, folks,
There
after
you
this
go.
podcast, go uh go on Facebook, I guess, and type in her, because I think the one she's doing is on Facebook. Um Not here on YouTube. I don't think so. So yeah. So okay, so you got that going on, and we have, of course, we have your books. We're going to flash them up on the screen again. 3 Sussex County Hauntings, Warren County Hauntings, and then we have your psychological thriller, and then we have your children's book.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, you've beat me by 3 books, and you're about to. Not that matters to me. I'm not like that.
I know you're not.
I'm not. As a matter of fact,
I know.
I start Family Spirits 3 and I just lose the motivation because there's just other things.
Uh, it'll
Yeah.
it'll it'll
I'll
come.
get it one of these. Yep.
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 It'll come
Yep.
when it's meant to come.
Right. Right. And that's what I think too.
Yeah.
Because since my last book because I wrote a book on being a magician too, like you
Oh,
wrote.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't selling until we included it with the little magic kit of the props that are selling. Because
Oh,
now people have like the
wow.
whole little, which is kind of neat. But yeah, it's going to come one of these days. I have so many investigations that I want to talk about since the publication of my last book. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yep. So what else would you like to talk about? We have about 5 minutes.
What else do I want to talk about? Well, you
We
tell me.
talk
What do
about
you?
a lot.
I'm sorry.
I said about a lot.
Yes. Well, I told you when I came
We
to North Carolina, I was getting that itch that I really wanted to be on a paranormal team. So I was kind of fishing around on social media and saying, "Are there any paranormal teams out here? Are there any paranormal teams out there?" And nobody was popping out. So I finally said, so it's a woman from here now, she lives here, but she lived in like Massachusetts and New Hampshire. She chimed in and she's like, I was trying to find a paranormal group too, and I just can't. Nobody's around. Why don't we collaborate together and start one? Because she'd already been on a couple of teams when she lived in that area, and she knew about my background. And so we did. We started one here, and we like had little interviews with the people to see that they were really interested and what could they contribute to the group, kind of thing. And so we like there's like a basic 6 that we have. There's
Mhm.
probably a total of 13, 14, but there's like a basic 6 that go all the time when we venture out. But it's kind of word of mouth. One person will hear that you're doing an investigation. They're like, oh my goodness, I have a place that you can investigate. And the next thing you know, you're doing the whole town. And
Right.
one's a bar, and
Right.
one's a
Right.
little gift shop. I just did a book signing last week at the local library here, and that warranted 2 investigations that we're gonna end up doing. One of them
That's
in
cool. That's
a
awesome.
haunted coffee shop, and then the other one's going to be a haunted house that I guess something happened there, and they know it's haunted. So I keep myself busy that way.
I think that's awesome. Um, we're at that show where you get to plug anything you want to plug.
Well, keep a lookout for that new book once it comes out. I'm hoping to get it out in the beginning of the new year, and it is going to be called Morris County hauntings, or it might even be Morris County and Sussex County hauntings. It depends on how many stories I could pull together to actually make a decent sized book. Um, but it looks like it's going to be a good 250, 300 page book like the others. So, yeah, look for that. And I do have a novella that will be coming out too within the next year. So I would love for you to read.
That's
But I
awesome.
guess most importantly is if you guys could review the books, good or bad. Us as authors, it's so hard for us to get reviews, and it's really
Right.
important for an author to have those reviews. So if you could do it on Amazon, Goodreads, BookBub, it would be great because when people see those reviews, it makes them want to read your book. So.
Website. Like
Nope,
if you
I took it down. I took it down. If anybody wants to reach me, they could see my Facebook profile there. It's put in author Eleanor Wagner on I'm sorry, on Amazon, and my bio and all that information comes up on the Amazon site. But I do have the Facebook Eleanor Wagner's Creeping It Real. So if they want to see my Facebook page there, they can. I do have Eleanor Wagner author Instagram. I have it on TikTok. I do have Eleanor Wagner YouTube, where you can go on and see stuff that I have on the YouTube channel. And if anybody wants to reach out to me with the story, it's author Eleanor Wagner at gmail.com.
perfect. And after this, and it doesn't have to be tonight, those links together and just message them to me. I'll make sure that they get put
Sure.
right down here beneath the episode in the description, and this way people could just click and go and visit your various sites and your profile. And
Thanks.
we'll definitely have your
I'll do that.
Amazon.com link as well. And here we got Todd. Part of North Carolina are
North
you
Carolina.
in?
Franklinton. It's Granville County. It's not too far from Raleigh. And this has been a fun conversation.
Very
Enjoyed when
cool.
we were. Thank you. Yes, thank you. It has been wonderful.
They are such great people. Todd and his wife are just such great people. They really are, and so supportive, so supportive. If everybody in this industry could be like them, it would be a
We'd
lot
be
better.
happy campers, right?
We sure would. We sure would. But okay, well, we are at 1 hour.
Okay.
So
My
we
battery
are
is starting to
going.
die, so I want to go and plug
Well,
in. So I
No,
don't
that's okay.
lose
That's
you.
okay. We like to have a tight hour anyway. So this is or this has been such a great interview and to talk to you again. Hopefully,
You
if you
too.
guys get back up to New Jersey, we could do something, whether it's a lecture event or an investigation or like that. Please reach out to me if you want to know more about the Palace Theater. That'd be
I'm going to. I'm holding you to that for sure.
absolutely, absolutely perfect. All right, okay, everybody. This is Eleanor Wagner. Thank you for 2 conversations from the castle. This was episode number 20, which is the age that Eleanor looks. So what we're going to do right now.
Wishful thinking.
So we are going to end this stream in 3. Well, we got to hold on. I got to end the stream. Okay. We're going to end this in 3, 2, 1. We'll